This is Christina Kleeb, Linda from Rob Zombie's Halloween, and you are totally listening to the Don't Go Out There horror movie podcast.
Tonight's brutal murders was described by police as Manson-like in its viciousness. 3 people brutally murdered and a 10-year-old boy being held in custody.
In a world where zombies, ghosts, serial killers, and vampires all exist, welcome to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Review Podcast. Just want to thank all of our fans and listeners. Y'all have been great to us. This new year has been awesome for us as a podcast, as a group of co-hosts. We're growing super fast in our genre, and it's awesome. We really appreciate it, guys. And I hope you all enjoyed our bonus episode, Dream Warriors. We all had a great time reviewing that movie. And tonight we got another slasher movie, 2007 Halloween, the Rob Zombie edition. And I hope we don't have any, Halloween Michael Myers fatigue, but this we needed to do a Rob Zombie movie, and we might as well do his best one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and just give my general overview, and we'll all give our general overview. This movie, I've used this comparison simile several times in the past in previous episodes, but this movie is a buffet to me. If you just look down a buffet, oh, you like this food, but the next one beside it, nah, you don't like it. That's how this movie is to me. There's some good, there's bad, there's good, there's bad. Some people are split on, does Michael Myers need a background? Does he need a backstory? Does it need to be explained? I'm sure we'll all debate that at the end. But that's just my general overview. There's some good, there's some bad in it. Brian, do you want to go next?
Sure. So, white trash, like over the top, torture porn in most cases, just it's not my thing, and that is, as we know, zombies thing. Honestly, I honestly hate that this film even exists, and that's mostly because now even more because I know how they were going to follow up Resurrection in the original continuity. And, I just don't think that this movie fully works. And I don't think there's a reason for it to have a remake to this Halloween. And that's proven, honestly, by them restarting it again in 2018 anyway, and just ignoring these. I think most, not all, but 99% of the zombie parts, the Rob Zombie part of this movie suck. And it's not till he's forced to adhere to the original story, to the original Halloween, 78 Halloween, to even make it a Halloween film at all, when it's actually a pretty decent film when it gets that far. But at that point, at that point, it's kind of, to me, it's already ruined. I sat down, I was objective, believe it or not, as I could be upon, this rewatch. And there's some good aspects for sure. And I'll get into those. And a lot of those good aspects, actually, Halloween 18 took into account whenever they did theirs. I mean, you could tell.
Yep.
But to me, there's more bad than good in this film, and I still don't understand why they even made this a Halloween film, because it honestly doesn't feel like it for half the movie. I'm not a filmmaker, but I feel like, and I believe people have actually done this online, you could take and recut Halloween 1 and 2 of zombies into one film and actually make it a pretty decent Halloween movie. I mean, nothing against Zombie. He's a millionaire for what he's done, but he made half a Rob Zombie film and half a Halloween film.
All right, go ahead, Mike. This was your pick.
Okay, well, let me explain why everyone had to suffer through another Michael Myers film, especially this one in particular. This film is nostalgic for me, not because I'm like 5 years old and it's the first time I saw it. No, I've explained it on the show numerous times, so I'll do it one last time, hopefully. This is the first movie I saw in 2007 when it came out in the theaters. It got me into horror because I was a giant scaredy cat and wouldn't watch it beforehand. My friends begged and begged and begged for me to go. We brought whiskey into the theater, had a nice experience. So upon first view, I loved this movie because it was my introduction, so to speak, to the horror genre. However, it's still nostalgic for me, so I still enjoy certain parts of it. There's still stuff that I do like. But over time, I see the flaws. There's Halloween movies that I much prefer to this one. I'll say I agree with what most of you guys have said here. This movie's probably not necessary. I will say I will give Zombie. I always do this, and I know I get some slack for it, but that's okay. I will give Zombie credit for doing some different stuff. I like different. Different is fine with me. It's not always executed well, but at least he's trying to do something different. This movie is poorly written as far as dialogue goes, which is kind of my issue with all of Rob Zombie's movies. I am a fan of Devil's Rejects, like Drew. I didn't like House of a Thousand Corpses, though. So, I'm a little 50-50 on that. But just as far as this movie, it doesn't do what the original did, but I don't think it was ever supposed to. Like Drew said, Michael Myers, the kind of is he human, is he not element is taken completely out of this movie. He is 100% human in this movie. Just kind of, honestly, and I hate to say this, but he's a Jason ripoff in this movie. However, Tyler Mane is a really good Michael Myers. I will give him credit.
Agreed.
Right up front, right here. He's scary and intimidating in that way. So good job. Again, I don't think the casting in this movie is bad. It's the dialogue that they are given. And we'll get into that. But I actually like this cast, and it's not because we met some of them. I've always liked this cast. I think they did a good job. And one more thing I want to give this movie credit to, and it's the soundtrack. I'm a classic rock fan. I love this soundtrack. I think it's awesome. It opens up with God of Thunder. It has Love Hurts by Nazareth, which I love. It's got Don't Now. The cover of that in Rob Zombie's second movie is a different story. But I love Love Hurts. Not the scene it's used, but I love the song. And I love Don't Fear the Reaper when it's used. I loved it in the original, so that makes a lot of sense. I'm looking forward to breaking this down because there's a lot to get into, a lot to really not so much film breakdown, but I think this is going to lead to a really good discussion amongst the four of us. Go ahead, Drew.
So Mike, I am in 100% agreement with you talking about like if the characters or the actors in this movie were given a better script, it would have been a 10-time better movie. Absolutely. There were so many times I was just like, wow, nobody would say that.
Right.
But they delivered it the way it was kind of written. Right. But it just felt like it was like, okay, that made no sense. Why would you even put that in there?
This movie is not on the actors, in my opinion. There's some good bit actors in this movie, which we're going to get into, when we get to the scene breakdown. Hell, I can't remember her name. I'm drawing a blank, but the woman who played Laurie's mom is an awesome parent character in this movie. Mm-hmm. Like, she's so good, especially in the director's cut. That's one more thing. This leads me back to directors and theatrical cut. I like the runtime of the theatrical cut better. There's some stuff I'm glad they took out, a certain scene, which we are going to break down. But some of the stuff in the director's cut makes for more, at least fleshed out characters. I don't agree with everything, but at least the characters make a little more sense. And by the way, a lot of people shit on me for this. I like Malcolm McDowell's Loomis. Sue me.
Oh, I love Malcolm.
I thought he was great.
He was fine.
I thought he was great.
I love him in this movie.
Yeah, well, the second, he was doing, he did what he had written for him. Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's good in this movie.
By the way, shout out to R.I.P. Sid Haig.
Yeah, rest in peace, Sid Haig. I forgot to mention, I'm breaking down my scenes I wrote down are the unrated director's cut.
Yes.
So I know there's some differences, but y'all boys ready to jump into it?
Let's do it.
All right, I'm not going to say.
I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch. Oh, sorry.
I'm not going to say the dialogue. I'll let Mike jump into like the details of the dialogue. I'll let him go first after I read the scenes. All right, the movie starts off with a young Michael. He's wearing a clown mask and he's like petting some rats he's got. And then his mom Deborah and his stepdad Ronnie, they're in the kitchen. They're having a delightful breakfast conversation. The baby is crying really loud. The daughter walks in, Judith, and Ronnie, the stepdad, is throwing some flirt words at her. Disgusting, Rob Zombie. So Rob Zombie gives his best right at the very beginning. The mom, Deborah, she tells Ronnie, I'm the only one who works around here, and he's all broken up. And then he knocks all the dishes onto the ground. The baby's crying even more. And they tell, the mom tells Judith, go get Michael from upstairs and come down. And it shows Michael, he's washing a knife off in the sink. And he comes down, and his stepdad, Ronnie, calls him Michelle. And I just wrote down after this the epitome of white trash. And after this breakfast scene, now we're at school. Two bullies are harassing him about his mom being a stripper. He shows him a newspaper cutout of her. They start fighting. The principal breaks up the fight. And then Michael tells the principal, "Fuck you." And then, Deborah is called to the school. Loomis shows up. We're finally introduced to Malcolm McDowell. He asks her if he's had a psychiatric evaluation. They show her a dead cat and pics of dead animals from his locker. He says it's early warning signs of much deeper problems. Then I just wrote down the Halloween score starts, and that never fails to me. That's the best theme of all time. And it shows young Michael running off with his clown mask. The main bully, is walking home through the woods, and then Michael appears out of nowhere and attacks him with a giant tree branch. And and this is one of my favorite scenes of the movie. Honestly, he's beating the bully with the tree limb, and you see the bully. He's got blood coming out of his eyes, his nose. He's saying, "Please, please, I'm sorry." But Michael, he picks his mask up and then he puts it right back down, and he just beats him to death. And I just wrote the word brutal. Mike, go ahead and kick us off. Talk to us about that dialogue first.
Okay, this is kind of
Be prepared.
This is part one of my big issue with this movie. In hindsight, knowing how much better a Halloween movie can be, this dialogue in this breakfast scene it's really bad. Like, it is white trash, trailer park bullshit, and I don't need my Michael Myers to come from this. Like, this is unnecessary stuff. 100%. So look, and I love William Forsythe. Side note, my favorite William Forsythe character is Deuce Bigelow, Mel Gigolo when he's a detective, but that's a different story. So in this movie, I like his portrayal of Ronnie, but the dialogue that he is given is horse shit. Crying shit. I will come over there and skull fuck the shit out of you. It
was a try hard.
Your daughter's got a cute little dumper. That's disgusting. Come on, man. That's your stepdaughter, dude. Like, that's gross. That's disgusting. Like, the whole thing is like, why does Michael Myers need to come from trailer trash? I honestly that's the part that I really don't understand. I guess that's just a Rob Zombie signature, and I just flat out don't like it, don't agree with it. Two things I will say positively. I like William Forsythe. I already said that. I actually think it's going to be tough because I feel like I'm about to catch some heat. In this movie, not other movies, but in this movie, Sherry Moon is fine. She's not bad as Michael Myers' mom in this movie. In the second movie, I don't know if I'm different. But in this movie, I think Sherry Moon is fine. So I give her credit for to me, it's the best role I've watched her in. That's just my personal opinion. We get to the school. I'm fine with these scenes. They're okay. I love the Halloween score, but I feel it's so random. Like, it's really random in there. Like, they start it when they're just kind of talking amongst themselves in the office. And, Kid Michael, who I think this kid does a really good job being Kid Michael. Like, I'll give him credit for the acting at least. I like the fuck you scene, which I know no one else does, but that's okay. And I like the kill of the bully, who's the Spy Kid guy. I can't remember his name, but he's in Spy Kids. I like the kill. Here's the issue, though. I don't need Michael Myers being bullied. And I don't need me wanting to see Michael Myers kill somebody and that be the right decision. Like, F this kid, let's kill him off. To me, that's a bad creative decision. I love the kill. The kill is awesome. The log kill, it's brutal. And I think I will give Zombie credit. He did something different than the original. Michael's first kill in that movie is his parent, it's the sister and all that stuff. And, you walk outside and you reveal it's Michael as a little kid. In this movie, his first kill is this bully. So at least it's different, something to change things up. But I'm just like, I don't see it necessary. And by the way, I'm not a big fan of the whole animal killing side plot because now we've found out that that's not necessarily an indicator of a serial killer. So not 100% true.
Yeah, I was actually just about to touch on that, Mike. Rob Zombie tried to make him just like any other regular serial killer in hindsight, right. But he's Michael Myers. He's not just a serial killer. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed, 100%.
Go ahead, Drew.
I'll say this: these scenes I actually liked them. I like the fact that they kind of put a little backstory into it.
Right.
The animal killing didn't bother me at all because that's kind of how it progresses. I mean, if you watch like this show, it's called Mindhunters.
Great show.
And it's great. It kind of dives into that. Like, they escalate, how they go into like their deepening, psychotic, I guess, episodes. But outside of that, like the opening scenes were great. The scene with the bully where he takes the limb and just beats the shit out of him.
I love that kill. Great.
I loved it. I
Great
loved
kill.
it. The graphic detail that they showed, and then they showed like his bloodshot eyes,
Yep.
and then his like nose and his mouth bleeding. It was a great visual, and you could kind of understand it because I don't know if either of you three boys have ever been bullied before in high school.
Well, I was a fat kid, so yes.
But it's kind of a thing. So I can understand how they wanted you to kind of come from a perspective of his trials and tribulations as a child and going through those things. So I can understand why they would want to put that in there so we could gravitate towards, okay, I can kind of understand why he went fucking insane.
Go ahead, Brian.
Well, the problem with that is I don't want to understand why he
That's
came
the
insane.
only issue.
I don't want a sympathetic Michael Myers ever. Like I don't want that at all. Sidebar, like just because we're at the beginning, I noticed that there's no date like on the opening title, and I think that's like a kind of a Rob Zombie trope because you don't ever know like what time period his films are in. Like they're the 70s vibe, but yet they're modern, so you never kind of really know wherever his films are set. So I think that also shout out, yeah, I kind of do too because it doesn't date it, but it just depends on your continuity that you're trying to go for with a series. But in this case, it doesn't matter. I kind of like that too. Shout out to Hannah Hall, who's played Judith Myers, who's actually Jenny from Forrest Gump, if you didn't know that.
Kid Jenny. Awesome.
But look, again, I hate this. I don't have hardly anything positive to say about these scenes. I don't have anything positive to say about the first 50 minutes of this movie. Like I hate this white trash shock shit, and we get 50 minutes of it, and and it doesn't feel like Halloween at all, and it's just not even necessary. I don't want the backstory for Myers. I don't want him to be sympathetic. I hate every aspect of this half of the movie, and I'm going to be hard pressed to find any positives here. But here's a positive out of these scenes. The positive is the first time to me that you get the music, and he kind of follows the bully a little bit, and he kind of has a little hint of Myers that you get to know. Yeah. But then again, like it felt like Halloween for a second, but again, you're rooting against the bully and you're rooting for Michael Myers, and that's not something I ever want to do.
So a quick question, and then I'll let Mike roll off it because I know he's got something to say here. So Brian, so you're talking about you don't want to be sympathetic for it, but the fact that like they changed how you went out this, why do you not want to feel any sympathy for him?
I don't, because it's like, I don't know if you watch Star Wars, but it's like getting a backstory for Darth Vader. I would rather not know why he's the way he is, and just there's something to making up like a pure evil, or just accepting that just some people are just pure evil. Plus, there's the whole, you don't know if he's supernatural, right, or just evil aspect to him. I don't need this stuff because to me, it dumbs down any killer really that when you know their backstory and you like can sympathize and understand where they came from. It kind of makes you like, okay, I understand why he's killing people. And to me, I don't want that. I want this dude to be a dark killing machine that you don't know why he's doing it, just the fact that he's evil. And to me, that adds more to it.
So you don't want to, like, I'm just trying to follow here. So you don't want no character to go along with it. Like, you don't want to know, maybe he could still have that same darkness that you're talking about, but like knowing that's kind of how he got swayed or put into his character, or how he became a dark killer. You don't want to know that. No,
I mean, because like I said, it makes you sympathize for him, and I don't want to sympathize for the killer.
I don't think it's a sympathize thing for me on this one. Like for me, I think I'm like, okay, look, he had a real fucked up situation, especially like we're talking about white trailer trash, his stepdad, good God almighty, if I was a stepfather like that, please shoot me in the fucking head.
But you are sympathizing right there. You're making an excuse for him, and that is sympathizing for him.
No, I didn't say I have a solution for him. I'm just saying, like, you get when those kind of things happen in real life situation, this is a real, I try to put it in real life terms. Like those things dictate how somebody potentially can be. Like it doesn't give them a blanket excuse for why they do what they do, but without those factors happening in his life, maybe he wouldn't have turned out the way he did. That's all I'm saying.
There's stories behind everything and everybody, but to me, I want to see less. Less is more in these situations. To me,
in this movie, okay, I kind of agree with both of you, and here's why. This movie, if it were so let's just pretend for just a minute, this killer's name is William. Who gives a shit? Okay, and this is a standalone movie.
Right.
No Halloween ties.
Right.
No mask that looks like Michael Myers. Let's just pretend he wears a sock over his head. It cuts the eyes out. And this is the exact same movie. It's better. Because Michael Myers works. The origin that we know is he's just the shape. Pale, emotionless face. The dark, the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes, like in the original movie. That is the Michael Myers that is the scariest. Is we don't know his motive. Why is he doing this? Kind of like we talked about in The Strangers, and I know Drew doesn't like that movie, but they're motiveless.
Yeah.
They're motiveless killers. To me, Michael Myers works best as that. However, Drew, I'm a serial killer, documentary watcher extraordinaire myself. So I get what you're saying. I just think for the Michael Myers character, I don't need it. If this killer, if this killer were named Bill, okay, now we have a pretty cool movie on our hands that Rob Zombie made, like a decent, white trash slasher movie. And so I think that's where the difference lies, in my opinion. It's just the character direction of Michael Myers that I'm not a fan of. Like, I don't need this for him. It's the same thing with the 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't need to know that backstory. Freddy's just a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree with most of that. And even if it was about Bob the killer, like if it, I don't know. To me, like I said, it's right. If you don't know the motivation, it makes it just more mysterious and scarier to me.
Right. And shout out to Loomis. Fun early fact. Never seen the original Halloween, so he couldn't base his original off of Dr. Loomis. I think
he did a damn good job too.
Really smart. He wasn't a carbon copy. I really enjoyed that. That was really good stuff. Crying shit.
The only thing I was going to agree with is you don't really have any sympathetic characters until you get to Haddonfield. Like,
right.
You're honestly pulling for Michael Myers the whole first 55 minutes of the movie.
Exactly.
I mean, you want him to kill his stepdad. You want him to kill the two hillbilly janitors who are raping a girl. I mean, you're pulling for Michael, and
well, that's the problem.
I wouldn't say I'm pulling for Michael, but I could sit there and say and just be like, okay, yeah, okay,
right,
kill him.
I see that too. I see both sides. I just don't know if I need it for the Michael Myers character.
I get where Brian and you are coming from. My biggest thing is like, considering, like I said, this is the first time I've actually watched this movie. Like, I actually took it from like what you were saying, like a standalone movie. So I was just like, okay, I appreciate the backstory of okay, this is the reason why he's as fucked up as he is. I know it's not necessary for the whole franchise, of course, because we all know where he's coming from to begin with.
Right.
Yeah, it's just the thing. It's when you're rebooting the very first king, the king of the slashers, and you're making a little kid who's from a white trash family, and you're making him to a basic serial killer, but then all of a sudden at the end he's a superhuman. It's like it just doesn't. I feel where Brian's coming from. Let's jump into these next scenes. Michael and Ronnie are watching TV, and Ronnie is harassing him about killing cats. It's everything that happened at school. And then Michael, he yells to Judith about going trick-or-treating.
Judith, I'm going to be late.
And I just wrote with stars beside it, I fucking hate Ronnie. Judith's boyfriend shows up, and they don't take Michael trick-or-treating. And they just go up to their room to have sex. And then the movie cuts between Deborah stripping to Love Hurts, and Michael, he's sitting on the curb, mad about what's going on. Boyfriend Steve all of a sudden just puts on the Michael Myers mask and says he wants to do it with the mask on. Michael walks inside, and Ronnie is asleep in the chair. Michael, he's just eating candy at the table, the kitchen table, and then he walks to the counter in the drawers, and he grabs out some duct tape and a kitchen knife. He takes Ronnie to the chair, and this is where I start to feel some evil in Michael. As the stepdad is taped to the chair, he's looking right down into his face, and he cuts his throat, and Michael just stares right into his eyes as he bleeds to death. And you get a really good visual of William Forsythe's neck bleeding. He's like trying to breathe in. I really like that kill. I just wrote pure evil. Now boyfriend Steve goes down to the kitchen for a post-smash sandwich. Michael sneaks up behind him and beats him. He hits him in the head with a baseball bat, and he falls to the ground. And then he just bludgeons him to death. And you get like these really scary foot twitches from him, and I really like that. He drops the bat, and he gets the knife, and he heads to Judith's room. He enters the room, and he puts on the Myers mask. He runs his fingers up her leg real, creepily, and she turns over and says, "What the fuck?" And she's slapping him in the face. He stabs her in the stomach. She hobbles out bleeding everywhere. He follows her down the hallway, then stabs her repeatedly. He puts the knife down, takes the mask off, and says Happy Halloween to the baby. Deborah gets home to see Michael and the baby outside on the steps. What is going on? Then you just hear police sirens go off, and we see the bodies being taken out on stretchers. Deborah Myers is crying, and you get the visual of Michael in the back of the police car. Brian, you want to go first on those two?
Sure. Look, so we're back back to White Trashville here, and I know you might love that Love Hurts song, but to me, like I
love the song.
The song is great out of this movie, but that was dog shit selection for the scene, like to go back and forth with the strip club and thing. I think that was way out of place and didn't even feel like it fit in there. He had some good cinematography with the shots when he killed his boyfriend, to me, but I felt nothing for that. You rooted for Michael to do it. You felt because you hated the boyfriend anyway. Baseball bat kill, Jesus Christ! I will give it that. I will give it this. That was brutal and felt real. Like definitely felt real. So whenever he puts on the Myers mask and then he's, let's get even more white trash and have him run his fingers over her leg and add some incest vibes too, because we weren't white trash enough. So let's add that to Myers' lore that he's, incestual. The one positive thing I will say is I love how it's got at the very end of this sequence that you just talked about, how it's got the newscast where everything's frozen in the scene. And it's panning towards, through the whole scene. And then you get, young Myers in the back of the police car. And he just like turns and looks at the camera. I really thought that was a really cool scene.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay. So, oh boy, here we go. I like Love Hurts as a song. You're right. And I only don't like it here because I feel like it's such a weird scene.
Yeah.
Like the back and forth between Sherry Moon stripping, and which, by the way, hello, Sherry Moon, and Kid Michael sitting on a curb crying is very weird to me. Like, it's a very weird scene that I just don't like. Had I known that a sequel was coming, Love Hurts makes a little more sense, even though I don't like that movie that much. It ties in. So again, love that song. I love this whole soundtrack. There's a couple scenes here though that are really well directed by Rob Zombie as far as camera work. The shot, the way it's framed,
I agree.
the way he moves the camera around. So I don't think Rob Zombie's a bad director. Just the way he uses the camera for the most part. I'm fine with a lot of that here. I love the Ronnie kill. I think it's brutal. I hate that we're pulling for Michael to do it, but I love the kill itself. And for anyone who says, how would Ronnie not wake up? I have it. He's so goddamn drunk and effed up on pills. Of course he's not waking up. So there you go. Also, hello, Judith. Hello. How are you? Call me sometime. So, whoa. Okay. I agree. I actually like the way they use the tension and music in these two scenes. It's not the score, which I like. It's just some creepy vibe music that I really enjoy. Love the way the camera is used. The bat kill, love it. Brutal kill, felt real, like you guys said, it felt it, and I love the twitch, like Nico said. That is such a cool added thing that I don't think a lot of people notice, and I fucking love it. I think it's great. The only thing I don't like about these scenes is the kid Michael putting on the mask, because to me,
It's ridiculous.
There's two things there. One, what the fuck? Like, it's just a weird scene. It's just a very strange scene. But I love the original origin story for him finding the mask out of the damn convenience store or the hardware store, whatever that was. Like, I love that. So, or however he originally found that. Like, I love that more than I do finding a random mask from Judas' boyfriend. So,
Well, because Tyler Main's so huge, that mask is so huge, and he looks like a bobblehead. He looks like a bobblehead wearing it.
Right. You could tell they made that mask for Tyler Main for sure. And so the mask looks hokey a little bit. And I'm like, oh, really? This is bullshit. Like, this is it's like Sartain putting it on in the new one. Like, what the fuck is this? This is stupid. So, but I don't mind the Judith kill. I think it's fine, but it's a little Scream-like for me. Stab to the gut, stab to the face, stab, stab, stab. So, not bad. There's some really good here, and I just want to reiterate, hello, Sherry Moon. And also, she does a great job finding, in the scene where she finds everybody dead, I think she does a really good job acting in that scene.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of characters in this movie.
Yes. Hello.
Hey, Drew, before you go, I'm just going
What am I supposed to do?
I'm calling Mike for the rest of the movie Ronnie because he just flirted with the mom and the daughter in 5 minutes.
Hey. That daughter of yours got a cute little dumper on her.
Go ahead, Drew. What's your thoughts, man?
I'll say like these scenes, like Mike touched on, like the way they were shot was just phenomenal.
Yep, I agree.
Phenomenal. Like I wrote down like in my notes here, I was like, the little nuances of like him walking through the blood and it showing his tiny footprints down the hall after he just like beat the shit out of that boyfriend. I love that. I was just like the little details to me matter in these scenes. Outside of that, the bat kill was freaking awesome. Just absolutely awesome. I will say this: I did notice that it was a plastic bat that he had in his hand, because when he pulled it up, I was like, "That's one of them plastic bats you get from Walmart for $2.99."
All right.
Like a little detail there, but nitpicking. Outside of that, like what Mike said, like with Sherry talking about how she portrayed at the end when she's like comes there, it's like, oh baby, give me the baby. What's going on? I really felt that.
Me too.
Concern of a mother.
Yep.
With that little interaction between them two, and then like with the cops coming there, and then they're talking about also what news agency is gonna just roll up there and be like, gruesome murder tonight. 3 people murdered, 1 by bat. Like, just give all the fucking details right off the bat, like on, News at 9. It doesn't happen like that.
Brother, there is a newsreel scene in every fucking Rob Zombie movie. Anyway, I digress.
I just thought I was like, I could have done without it.
All right. Smith Grove, 11 months later.
Here we go.
He's found guilty of murder. Loomis interviews Michael. Asks, what do you remember? Michael says he didn't do it. Now he's with his mom. Asks if he can go home, and is everyone okay at home? The janitor, Ishmael, peeks into his room and tells Mikey, don't let the walls get to you. I just wrote down there's more. A lot of this right now is just cuts in between Loomis and Michael and his mom. More Loomis and Michael. Loomis tells him that black isn't a color because he's asking, he's coloring masks. Michael is making more and more masks, I wrote. Michael panics. He wants to go home. Loomis tells him he can't because he's done terrible things. There's more recordings from Loomis. The two are outside. Michael isn't talking to Loomis now. Loomis, Deborah, and Michael are eating. Loomis walks her to the car. The nurse comes in to watch. She makes a joke to Michael that the baby is cute but couldn't be related to you. And that's just been referenced because Deborah gave Michael a picture of him and the baby from when they were little, from before he got sent to the psych ward. The nurse turns around to not look at him. Michael grabs a fork and stabs her right in the neck. The guards come chasing into the room and their sirens going off. And, Dr. Loomis and the mom walking, what happened? What happened? And then Deborah runs up to Michael and he snarls at her. Deborah is crying she's crying on the cafeteria floor. Then it cuts to her. She's crying on the couch at home. She's watching slideshows of the family. She gets a gun and she shoots herself and she commits suicide. And you hear the baby crying. 15 years later, Ishmael shows the new janitor around. And I wrote down there's a lot of good racist talk by the new janitor. They go into Michael Myers' room. Masks are everywhere. Michael got big as hell in 15 years, I wrote. They must be feeding that son of a gun good. They escort him to Loomis in the cafeteria, I guess. He hasn't spoken in 15 years. Loomis says he's become his best friend and his life is all fucked up. But this is his last day because he can't make any leeway with him. And you hear Loomis tell him, take care, Michael, take care. He walks off. He's given a seminar on the evil of Michael Myers. Drew, you want to go first on that, man?
I'll say this. I really this is kind of where this movie kind of lost me a little bit. It just, like I was saying, it's like a tale of two halves. Like the first 20 minutes, they were okay, grabbed me in there, and then this 30 or 40-minute segment, I'm like, why? You don't need this. You don't need all the extra stuff that's going on here. I will say this: the nurse kill with him stabbing her with a fork. I like that. I liked it. And then with the mom, I also appreciated the scene where she, looking at the memories and just trying to remember what her child was before all the insaneness, I guess you could say, happened. And then because I as a parent, those are kind of those things that you just sit there and realize your number one concern is how your kids feel. Right. And if you feel like you just let your kids down and there's nothing you can do for them, and then you get to that point where just oh, there's nothing I can do for it. I can understand where she's coming from, seeing those videos and just saying, oh, I want to end it all. I can get it.
Go ahead, Brian.
So this whole part of it here, the Loomis Myers interview, the more humanizing Myers, the showing more of the Myers in the institution. I get Zombie's trying to show him slipping into crazy more and more, but you can do this over a montage. Mm-hmm. To me, this is monotonous and super boring, and I can't wait until this half of the film is over with. I actually don't mind the nurse kill, mostly because of the cinematography. I liked seeing it through the security camera. I thought that was really cool.
Yes, it was.
You don't see every gory shock porn detail of it, which is nice. Is a nice change so far in this movie. The soundtrack, where it's only the siren, very effective. I thought that was very cool. But then it should have ended there, but I didn't need the home movie montage that it's shown. All right, so how do I really like the character of Jason. So I think it's I was like, damn, Tyler Mane is Jason. This is who he is. He's Jason Voorhees right here.
Absolutely.
And I think that's awesome, just not in my Halloween movie. Right. And so looking at this as a standalone film, I really like that you took that from Friday the 13th. Also, there's a whole, another thing with the with Friday the 13th later on. I'll hit with that I think they really took from there too. But this should have been 5 minutes into this movie, not 40 to me.
Yep.
You have Loomis, giving all of the description of Myers right here that you need. You didn't need to see the first 40 minutes of this movie to me.
All right, so a couple things. I like that. Okay, here's what I'll say. I don't like the direction that we've taken with Michael. However, we've taken this direction, so I'll play with it. I'll say this. I like that we have these Smith Grove scenes. I just think the execution is flat. I think it's too long.
Yes.
It's too monotonous, like Brian said. It's too overkill. I'm okay with some, since we've gone this direction, I'm okay with some character depth, like Loomis. In the director's cut, you get a better Loomis that looks like he cares about Michael Myers as a child. He actually is doing his job, trying to see what's wrong with this young guy. And at least in the director's cut, you get that. Is it necessary? Maybe not. But we've gone the direction. I'm curious. At least what's the deal with this guy as a standalone movie, not as Michael Myers. So I just think the execution falls flat. It goes on a little too long. I like the nurse kill in the theatrical cut. In the director's cut, when she throws that fucking little stupid line in there about cute baby, couldn't be related to you. That makes me want to have Michael Myers kill her. And I don't need that shit. That's bullshit. Yeah. We just the theatrical cut got it right. Whoever cut that, bravo fucking oh. That's better. Like he's crazy now. Fuck it. He just killed this random ass nurse. I love seeing it through the security camera. That is awesome. Okay. So I'm not a huge fan of Michael Myers looking like the Incredible Hulk 15 years later, but I think Tyler Mane is so good at being Michael Myers, I'm fine with it. He's actually a really good Jason Voorhees. So if you ever do, you guys, hey, if you're listening and you're in charge of writing the next Friday and you don't want to cast Jason Mears, Tyler Mane is probably available. Just saying, he'd be really good. So what I'll say is this: I'm okay with the mom's suicide. I think since we've gone this direction, at least it gives me some emotional closure there. I'm fine with that. I think Sherry Moon does a good job. So it's there. It's not my favorite scene or anything, but I'm fine with it. This redneck guard piece of shit is worthless. He's racist, a prick, and we're supposed to hate him, which again, I don't need in this movie. I'm supposed to hate Michael Myers, not. Hey, what's the dish, Ishmael? Huh? Like, what a fucking asshole. Like, oh, God, I hate this guy. Hey, you actually got feelings for this freak? Well, now we all do. Now we all do because you're an asshole. We all want to see Michael Myers kill you. So congratulations. Like, and what we're about to get into, he's in the movie long enough in the theatrical cut. He's in the movie entirely too long in the director's cut, which we're about to get to. But I agree with the consensus here. The Smith Grove scenes are just too long. Just way too long.
Alrighty. Here's another wonderful Rob Zombie scene. Nighttime at the Grove.
This is awful, man. God damn, this is awful.
Nighttime at the Grove. The redneck janitor we just met goes to the local watering hole and gets his cousin. He's like, I got a new patient I want to show you. They grab her and they start, fondling her. They take her into and the other guy says, I got a sure shitting idea, cousin. And he takes them there, like, we're going to take her to Michael Myers' room. They hold her to the bed and they rape her. And, one of the guards who's not doing the raping is grabbing Michael Myers' mask. He's getting, in his face. So Myers finally gets up and he kills both of the two janitors. After this, Ishmael, Danny Trejo, shows up and he sees all the carnage that's going on. He turns around and there's Michael Myers. He tries to put handcuffs on him, but Michael throws him into the wall. And then you just see, I feel bad for my guy Danny Trejo here.
Me too.
He's like, I was good to you, Mikey.
Yeah.
And Michael Myers dunks his head in the water over and over and over, and he's almost about to drown. But then he throws him on the ground, and to finish him off, he slams the TV on his head, killing him. The phone rings, and Loomis answers, and he finds out what happened that the evening. And I just wrote these two words with an exclamation point after it. Tom Sawyer by Rush is playing.
Great.
And Mike's favorite guy, Joe Grizzly, he parks his rig, his semi. He goes to the bathroom and he's looking at some dirty magazines. And then Myers shows up. You see his dirty feet with his slippers underneath the stall. And Myers keeps knocking on the door. And then Joe Grizzly gets up and says, I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch. And they fight in the stall. Joe, Michael grabs his hand with his knife and he slams it to the stall wall over and over and over. And fun fact, those two actually did that scene themselves, no stunts. So that's awesome. They broke that thing themselves. Joe punches him in the face, and then Michael Myers stabs him in the gut and kills him, and he steals his suit. And he somehow learned to drive an 18-wheeler. All right. 55 minutes into the movie, we're finally in Haddonfield.
God damn.
Lori and her parents are having an awkward, yet way less white trashy breakfast conversation. The dad asks her to drop this envelope off under the door of the Myers house. Tommy catches up to her. Jesus Christ. Michael, she takes the envelope to the door, and Michael's in the house. She doesn't know it. He gets his mask back. She slips the envelope into the mail slot. And you just see the visual of, Michael looking out of it. He watches them both walk away. Lori, Annie, and Linda, they're all in the library talking. Lori's looking outside of the window, and she sees Michael just staring at her. You get that same scene from the first movie. Drew, you want to go first on those two?
Yeah.
55 minutes into the movie, we get to Haddonfield.
Yes. This
Fine,
is what we was talking. This is exactly what me and Brian was talking about. This it's the tale of the two halves. You got about 15 minutes at the beginning that maybe made sense to the movie, and then you had to wait 45 minutes before it actually got to where we wanted to go. There's two things I want to talk about this. First, Danny Trejo.
My man.
I love me some Danny Trejo.
Machete.
Why on God's green earth did his hat not come off during the water scene? My man is getting drowned in a sink full of water, but his hat stays on.
Never noticed.
Down, up.
You
down,
just answered
up,
your own.
back
You just
and
answered
forth.
your own question though. It's Danny fucking Trejo. That's why. That's why.
That was literally the only thing I was thinking the whole time during that scene was like, how the fuck is his hat still on? He's being dunked like 16 times. And the whole time I was like, I was like, is he going to let him off? Is he just going to kind of drown him? Then he pulled him back out. And then I was like, okay, he's going to let him live. And then it was like, nope, TV on the face. He dead. And then on that one, I'll say this, where it kind of segues into the house, and he finds that's what we're talking about right here, right? Where he goes back to get his hat, his mask, right?
Yes.
How in the world he was what? Was he 10 or 11 when this happened? Like originally?
I don't know.
Who knows?
Kid.
So we'll just say a kid has
Middle school kid,
enough capacity in the mind to say, you know what? Let me go hide my knife and this mask in the floorboards. And then once he comes back out, he's just like, oh yeah, I hid all my shit in the floorboards. Let me get it out. And I'm back into it. Details.
Right.
And I think this kind of goes back. I know Brian said he wasn't a real fan of the mask at the beginning, but I kind of feel like it made sense throughout the movie because I feel like as the Loomis interactions went along with them, like it would show that was his safe place. That's where he could be whoever he wanted to be. And obviously he wanted to be a crazed killer that just wanted to stab and kill people.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay. I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch. Had to get that out one more time. I hate, and I can't stress this enough.
Say it again.
I hate Loomis's college tour character. Like, it's even worse in the second movie, but it starts in this movie, and it really pisses me off. I'm not a fan. So X that out right there. Rape scene is entirely unnecessary. It is garbage. It's white trash. Look, I'm okay. Here's the deal. I'm not okay. I want to word this better. That type of scene can be utilized to create sympathy in the right movie, like a I Spit on Your Grave or something like that. It has no place in a Halloween film. Zero. None. It's ridiculous. And it pisses me off, and it makes me want to see Michael Myers kill people. I don't understand why we continue to do this. So again, bad character direction. It makes Michael a hero for saving a rape victim. What is that? Like, what is that? Okay, I'll get off that horse, I guess.
Hey Mike, real quick. Is I know there's another version, it might be the theatrical. It's so much better how he gets out. They're just escorting him and he just breaks free. That is so much better than showing a girl getting raped.
I was just about to say that, Nico. In the theatrical cut, he just breaks the chains and beats the shit out of everybody and kills them. And it's real short and it doesn't take long. And you still get the Danny Trejo kill. And it's much more condensed and shorter and it makes a lot more sense. This is garbage. Like, it's way too long. I was just about to say, the massacre at Smith Grove is entirely too long. The kills take too long. The rape scene is in there. I like the Danny Trejo kill. Like, I like the way they kill him. But again, this is the first time. Now, I want you to understand this. This is the first time in this entire movie, and we're almost 48 minutes in, that I am mad at Michael Myers.
Yeah, I wrote the same thing, basically.
I'm like, oh, fuck this guy. This guy's a piece of shit. He just killed this nice guy. No, I was good to you, Mikey. Like that's good shit. And it was really, I love Danny Trejo in that scene. It's good stuff. We talked about Joe Grizzly Bitch. I also wrote down, how did Myers get so big? Like, it's still new to me, but I'm okay with it. I like Joe Grizzly being the reason he has a jumpsuit. I think that's a nice touch, a nice change from the original, so I'm okay with that. Shout out to the H2O Easter egg with Mr. Sandman softly playing in the back. Yes. That's great shit. Great shit.
Hey, you're talking about him being so big. Like, I think Rob Zombie actually said that he cast Sherry Moon because she's tall and they wanted it to be believable. But he's 6'8". Sherry Moon is not believable. That doesn't work.
Hey, Brian. He cast Sherry Moon Zombie because that's his wife.
That's 100% why.
She's in every movie, and that's fine. It's fine. Whatever he wants to do is fine.
Yeah, I read that.
Nothing wrong with that, but that's a bunch of shit, what he just said. We're on to Haddonfield, fucking finally. Yes. I love Laurie's parents, especially in the director's cut. I think they're good parent characters. Really well fleshed out. They seem like nice people. I love the mom. The mom is funny, and she's got some good one-liners that come later. I don't need Laurie Strode's finger fucking a bagel, but that's fine. It kind of made me laugh a little bit. This breakfast scene is still better than 2018's. I got peanut butter on my penis. Mm-hmm. So it's much better than that. I'll take finger fucking the bagel than peanut butter on my penis from Ray any day. Ray, you're the worst character in Halloween history besides Tina. Anyway, so Scout, I know we met her, so I'm not just talking that smack. She's a good Laurie Strode to me. Oh. I've thought that from the very first time I saw it. And
in this movie.
Yeah. Actually, I think the second movie is well acted, but she's not given great material. That's just me. So I think she's really good as Laurie Strode in this movie, in this role. I think she plays that Laurie Strode type-ish character really well. And this is one big part I know we were all going to differ on. All you guys were going to say one thing, and I'm going to disagree. This is my first big difference, I think. I like the mass discovery scene. I think it's awesome.
Oh, I love it. So,
I think
you're not.
Okay, I think it's great. And
figure that.
Drew, hold on, Drew. I'm gonna cap tip you. I think you're right. It is a leap in logic. I'm not denying that. However, the way it's shot, the way they used the score, I love the way that the light is creaking through the window a little bit. I love that scene. It is so badass.
The presentation of it is great.
That's why I love it. I'm willing to ignore the leap in logic just for that alone.
I don't even think it's a leap in logic. I mean, the dude sat at Smith's Grove for 30 damn years. You don't think that he remembered what the hell he did with the last thing that he had on?
True.
Well, yeah, but like, what kids could be like? You know what? Let me go hide the mask and knife underneath the cupboard. I mean, underneath the floorboard.
Hey,
like, what a 10-year-old is going to do that?
He is a psychopath.
I buy it, but I mean, that's just me.
Go ahead, Brian.
Brian.
Look, I think I think they went way, way overboard with this rape scene. Fucking Rob Zombie he towed the line the entire first 40 minutes and he finally crossed it. Like, in my opinion, it was just shock Rob Zombie bullshit that you don't need at all. And then I wrote it down. Mike said the same thing. You got Michael Myers turn into a good guy right here. Like, he is the quintessential good guy in this scene, and I hate it. I've never even seen the theatrical version, so I'm very glad that they cut it out for the theatrical version, to be honest with you. I said the same thing. I actually did like the Trejo scene because for the first time you have him killing somebody who's been good to him. I really like that. And actually for that scene, I got it written down here. For that this movie becomes actually watchable to me. Like, I almost have shut this movie off. I don't know how many times because I think it's been pure dog shit up until this moment. And honestly, from now until the end, it rivals Halloween 78, how it rivals any of the Halloween films to me. I love the rest of this film, to be honest with you.
I agree.
Love the bathroom scene. And honestly, like I said, I love the mask put on scene. And unlike 2018, they did it in the dark. They did it with the music. They set the tension. Yep. And I think
oh,
that's
you mean it was great?
They did it much better than 2018.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's see. Oh, and here's another hot take of mine. The three friends, Tyler Scout, Danielle, Christina, is their last name Klebe? How do you say it?
We'll go with Klebe.
I don't know exactly how to say it, but yeah.
Look, I think those three are way better and believable teenagers than the original 78 ones. I think they're better actresses. I think they're much better. And Tyler Scout Compton is a much better Laurie Strode than Jamie Lee Curtis.
In 78.
Oh, well, I've never even seen Halloween 2 more than once, and I wanted to kill myself, so I don't remember how she was in that one.
So, Brian, how you was talking about the like with the rape scene and stuff like that, like talking about how he's going to be the hero. And all. I actually didn't take that away from like him being a hero or whatever. I was like, like he didn't give a shit about that girl getting touched, molested, raped, whatever until they touched his fucking mask, and that's when he lost his shit. So like I didn't even get the sympathy part from it because I'm like, he didn't give a fuck about that girl. They touched his stuff, and then all of a sudden he lost it. Then he's like, "Don't touch my mask. My mask is mine." And he wasn't doing it to protect the girl. He was doing it to protect his mask.
Yeah, they kept poking the bear, and the bear finally. Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Oh, I will say too, I love Klebe's how she throws in totally like as into her acting, just as a nod to this. I really liked that too.
Yep. Hey, Nico. Before you take back over, I wanted to piggyback off of what Brian said about about Laurie and her friends. I think, like you said, they are much better portrayed. The acting is better. The characters are more fleshed out. And look, you can disagree with the decision to make Linda what I would like to let's just call it what it is, a slut. But I think it's okay. Like I don't mind it. I think it's at least a character. And the first one, she kind of serves no purpose but to die on screen. And so at least in this movie, she has some character, some lines, some development. I love Danielle Harris. I'm sure everyone on the show knows that. I'm not the only one, so holler if you hear me.
You're not. I love
her. I love Danielle Harris. So great casting. And by the way, this is one cap tip I will give to Rob Zombie. Tip of the cap for casting Danielle Harris in a Halloween movie all these years later after being Jamie Lloyd, getting the shaft in Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, bringing her back into the fold. Hey, David Gordon Green, if you're listening, you should have fucking done the same thing.
Thank you.
I just told Brian's gimmick, pal.
I think the teen characters actually had probably the best lines in the whole movie. Like
I agree, the dialogue is fine with them. I have no problem with them.
The way they interact, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the way me and my friends were. Like that's the way we talked when we was in high school.
Hey freak, hey freak, you want some of the young stuff? I like that. Yeah.
And by the way, I think Linda was portrayed as slutty probably as you could portray back in 78. I think to me, like she was portrayed that way. So I thought it was true to her character. Just more modernized.
Oh, I know you're not there yet. I'll wait till you go. Go ahead, Nico.
Loomis and the Smith Grove head honchos, they're debating on whose fault it was that he got away. He's like, all he had to do was just babysit him until he died. He tells them to call Haddonfield. And Ito Kia says, "It's over 100 miles away from here." The three girls are walking, this is the three girls walking home scene. They see Michael and they start harassing him like, Mike was just doing. Annie says that her dad is a sheriff and he walks away. Sheriff Brackett, a.k.a. Fortune Cookie,
Yeah,
my
Brad
man,
Dorff, my
my
man.
man, that's right. Sheriff Brackett shows up and takes Annie home. And I wrote down just what Brian said. Totally. We see Michael in the background as Lori gets home. I really did like the totally,
Me too.
homage. I like that. Loomis and the gravekeeper get to the graveyard. The keeper freaks out, dropping hella cuss words when he sees what happened. There's a coyote on a crucifix where Judas' tombstone was. Bob and Linda get to their smash house. Myers is on the roof. They get done having sex, and he goes to get her another beer. And I wrote down, why not bring the damn cooler inside? Why would you leave the beer outside? That's just a nitpick. Linda calls Lori, and they talk about school and stuff. Bob comes in with the sheet on, and then Myers attacks him and stabs a knife through him into the wall. Myers goes into the room with the sheet on. Boob shot. Myers starts to strangle her, and he carries her dead body off. I'm going to go ahead and read the next scene as well, because that really wasn't a lot. Loomis is at a gun shop buying a .357 Magnum, because he's going big game hunting, as a pawn shop guy says. Lori and her parents are on the porch chilling. She leaves with Annie. The mom goes inside, but Myers attacks the dad on the porch. He goes in and kills the mom with a neck break. Lori and Tommy are having a snack, and then he asks, "Is the boogeyman real?" Then she scares him. Then Annie calls her. Myers is watching through the window. I really like seeing Michael in the background of Annie. Lindsay is watching TV with no clue Myers is right behind her. Loomis is with the sheriff. He expresses concern over the missing tombstone and the coyote crucifix. Annie and Lindsay walk to Tommy's. You see Michael in the background. They get to Tommy's house. The two, they agree. I wrote the two girls agree that Lori need a dicking. And then Paul shows up to get Annie. Mike, do you want to go first on those scenes, man?
Okay.
This to me is where, like Brian said, it starts to feel like an actual Halloween movie.
Yeah, this is the first time it really feels like an actual Halloween movie. Shout out to Brad, as I wrote in my notes here, excuse me. Brad motherfucking Dorff, my man. I wrote that right there. I love the Halloween distance line callback from the original. Over 100 miles away from here. I like that. The only thing, I love the dialogue that the teens are given. Small thing though, kind of makes them unlikable for Tony and Michael Myers. Hey freak, you like the young stuff, but outside of that, that's kind of a nitpick. It doesn't bother me that much. Again, love Laurie's parents in the director's cut. The callback to the, I'm still mad about the whole bagel thing this morning, to be honest with you. That's really good shit. Like, I thought that was awesome. Like, that's a really funny. See, hey, David Gordon Green, Danny McBride, humor can exist. You don't have to overdo it. Okay. Anyway, unnecessary title cards, as Dead Meat James would like to point out. This is fucking unnecessary. Trick or Treat, that title card, it's just. Anyway, yeah. Linda, who we met. Hello, how are you? Call me sometime. Fantastic scene that you're in here. And I think this is the first time in a Halloween movie we get a full frontal.
I was going to say it's the first full frontal we've done in any movie that we've watched.
Yes, yeah. I like her character a lot, I guess. I love the Don't Fear the Reaper callback. Shout out to that. Her boyfriend is a fucking loser. And every boyfriend in this movie is a loser. It looks like they would hang out at a Rob Zombie con. Oh, that's not very nice. I actually like Rob Zombie's music, so I don't want to do that. Or some of it. So again, the only thing about the Bob kill, are we there yet? Yeah, we're there.
Yep.
The only thing about the Bob kill is it's a direct ripoff of the original, and I think you need a little bit of that, but like the 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street, too much can be a bad thing. So I would have pulled that back a little bit, maybe did something different. Because it's so identical, it makes it not as effective. Again, these are the scenes that feel like a Halloween movie where Maine is a very effective Michael Myers. Like, he is so good. And shout out to the kid actors who play Tommy Doyle and why am I drawing a blank here?
Lindsay.
Lindsay Wallace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to the kid actors. I think they did a really good job. Yep, that's all I got right there.
Go ahead, Brian.
I've got written down how much I really love Malcolm McDowell as Loomis. I guess starting from here on, I liked him at the beginning, but I was so distracted with how shitty the movie was at the beginning. This is really starting to. I really like him in the rest of this. That walk and talk. The only thing I will say this is just a nitpick of mine, but that's hell. It's in 2018 got this wrong too, but it doesn't feel like fall. It doesn't feel like Halloween. There's flowers blooming still. Like the atmosphere in a Halloween movie to me is very important. And like I said, even 2018 got that wrong. When we reviewed that, I was complaining about that too. But it's only in this part. Like they get that right later on. I actually like how the whole Bob and Linda thing is in the Myers house. Yes, the Bob kill is exactly the same, but I thought that it was different enough that I liked it, and I felt like that Bob kill is so iconic that it almost had to be It almost had to be. I think that I would have missed it if it hadn't been in there.
Right.
And especially for as much as that was just like the 78 one, him busting in that Strode house was so unexpected to me. I really liked how surprising that was, especially after that, copy of the Bob kill. I wasn't super convinced right off the bat about Brad Dourif as being the Sheriff Brackett, but this scene sold me hook, line, and sinker. The exchange between him and Loomis right there, I think was amazing, and I think it was both great writing and great acting, and I think that it really, like I said, it really sold me as on Brad Dourif as Sheriff Brackett. The last thing that I thought felt a little bit out of place was Michael standing behind Lindsay while she was watching TV, and I guess he was maybe watching TV a little bit. I don't know, but to me, I don't know. He just felt out of place in that scene, and I don't know how else to really describe it except for that.
Go ahead, Drew.
I can imagine with what you're saying there, Brian, with where he felt out of place. It just felt like it was you could pan there, and I think it would have had a better effect if he wouldn't have been there. It's he was kind of expecting somebody to be there, but it's not there.
Or just further in the background in a window or something. Yeah. He just was too close to me. It was just like, whoa, oh shit. And it was just
because as soon as they come in there and you see him, and they she turns right back, and he's instantly gone.
Yeah.
I think that's where it kind of even if you would have panned it further back, and then he would have been closer when she looked the second time.
Right.
I think it would have made for a more dramatic revelation for it. But I like all these I'm Queen Sheba. I'll do what I want. That's your little girlfriend. No, I don't like girls. They're not supposed to be over here. I totally get that. It's definitely not as good as 78. I guess.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
that was the cream of the crop at the top of those two characters. Yep. But I didn't like or hate any one of these when he kills them or whatever. It was fine. The Bob kill was really good. Outside of that, that's all I got.
All right, back to Loomis and the sheriff. They argue. Sheriff says he doesn't like Loomis because he's wrote a book about him. He's come back to get his baby sister, says Loomis. The sheriff calls the Strode house and they get no answer. They get into the car to head to the Strode house. Tommy and Lindsay are watching TV talking about the boogeyman. Paul and Annie are making out on the couch. Michael walks in. He grabs Paul and stabs him. Annie tries to run off, but Myers grabs her and slams the door. That's one of the scenes from the trailer. He backhands the hell out of her, I wrote. He drags her through the house. Back to Tommy's. Lori tells Lindsay it's time to go. Sheriff and Loomis are driving. He says he dropped the baby off at an emergency room in another town. Another baby is in Lori Strode, and she was adopted. Lori walks Lindsay home. She sees Annie on the ground and Potty's body hung with a pumpkin on his head. Myers is behind the door. She calls 911. Annie is crying for Lori. The sheriff gets the call on the CB, an emergency call from Lori. Myers grabs Lori. She breaks down the glass door. She's running through the streets and gets to Tommy's house. Myers shows up and breaks through the door, and they hide in the bathroom. And I'm going to stop right there because the next two scenes are the last two I have wrote down. Drew, do you want to go first on those, man?
The Annie and Paul thing is like, yeah, I've been there before. Sneak over there. Been there before. So like I said, like the teen characters and the way they put it, way he put it in this is like very on brand for him. I'll say when Loomis is like explained, or Sheriff is explaining to him like, hey, I didn't want her growing up to know this tragedy that she was going to be a part of. And then I got called by this person and they were adopted. I wasn't a fan of that. Wasn't a fan of it.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay. So really quick, I want to battle Drew back on that. I like that this movie takes the time to acknowledge in the first movie, since we're going with continuity, I like that this movie takes the time to acknowledge that they are brother and sister. If that's the story we're going with, I like that this movie has a little part where it says he's come back for his baby sister. They talk about it amongst Brackett and Loomis. I like that for some reason. I don't know why, but I do. I meant to touch on it when Nico touched on it a little bit ago, but the parents' kills aren't great, but you feel them. They are I'm emotionally tied to these parents. Right. And that made me turn on Michael with the quickness. If I wasn't already turned, I'm turned now by Laurie's parents being killed. So that really got me. Shout out to the Easter egg. The owner of the gangster store is the bass guy from the Monkees. Yep. So that's kind of fun. Shout out to that. I hope I didn't steal anybody's fun fact. So back to where we were. The scene where Myers stalks or is kind of watching Lindsay watch a movie. Oh, I love that. I thought that was awesome. I thought that was creepy. It felt like an old Halloween movie, like 4, 6, like a good Halloween scene. I thought it was awesome. Okay. The only thing I'll say is why the fuck are these kids watching really old-ass Halloween movies? But then I did a little research and I realized, those are Rob Zombie's favorite movies. These black and white, old, like, zombie creature movies. So that makes a lot of sense. So I guess that's why it's there. I love the music in these scenes. I think they use a lot of the old Carpenter stuff really well. Kind of like the original on steroids, I guess. This is the Cliff Notes version of the original film. The last 50 minutes of this movie is a Cliff Notes version of Halloween 78. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I just wish it had come a little sooner is all. So, I like... Yep.
Well, it's done in about the same amount of time.
Yeah, and that's that's a good point. That's a really good point. One more thing. I love the interaction with Brackett and Loomis. I think the two characters play off each other really well. Both are acted really well by Brad Dourif, who should get a freaking Academy Award for his performance in Halloween 2, but we'll talk about that another time. And I love Michael McDowell Loomis. And by the way, Danielle, hello, call me sometime. I have to do this because I did it for everybody else, so you get the same. Scout, hello, call me sometime. Okay, I wanted to be equal treatment with how I express my love here on this show. I think she's good as Annie for a couple reasons. That is a very tough scene to do. Naked, on the floor, covered in fake blood, blood. Like, you have to really sell that scene, and I think she did a really good job. So that's all I got.
I'm going to touch on all that at the end. Go ahead, Drew.
Go ahead.
Hey, Mike, so you talking about how you love how it touches on the how the brother-sister dynamic of the whole franchise, how they go back to it and put it on there. So I'm fine with that, but in the end, how does he know that's her? How does he know?
Now that I don't have a good answer for her. So
that's my thing. Is like, if you're gonna touch on that, there's got to be some way. Like, you just don't go roll up there. Like if I had been separated from my younger sister or whatever for 10, 15 years, and then all of a sudden I was put in front of them, I'm not gonna know that that's my sister right there.
I'll answer that. Here we go. This is the part where we get to, and I don't like it because he didn't use it the rest of the movie, but this is that supernatural edge to Mike Myers, in my opinion. That's where this starts to kick in. I don't like it. I think it's poorly executed because it takes so damn long to get there. But how would he know it's his sister? Man, he just knows.
Right.
Because he's Michael fucking Myers. And I'm okay with that being unexplained in this instance. Yeah. Normally, I agree with you, Drew. Like, normally, I'm like, really? That's fucking terrible. But because of the character of Michael Myers that I'm used to, I'm willing to let it go. Just the normal Michael Myers character.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, it doesn't really bother me, but I just feel like you can't really stand for it unless you answer both sides of that. That's my kind of thing. Like, you got, I don't know, like you got to kind of answer it. But then I get your point too, where you're talking about the supernatural aspect of it. Like, he just kind of knows it, and you just got to roll with it off faith.
Right.
Well, that's exactly my point on why I think you don't need the backstory for Michael.
Yes.
You don't need the backstory for Michael. You don't need to know this, like how he finds that out too. I think the unknown is just as scarier. I think. I mean, to me too.
Yep.
All right. So I like the how Sheriff's preconceived opinion of Loomis helps explain why he doesn't really believe him when he comes to him. It makes the Haddonfield police seem less idiotic, and I think they do this way better in this than they did in 78. I really like that scene between Sheriff and Loomis there. Wow. So I have well-documented love for Danielle Harris.
Yes.
I have multiple times to my wife called her my future ex-wife. But listen, the Annie sex scene, did anybody else's VCRs freeze on this scene? Mine froze. It kept rewinding.
You watched on your VCR, bro?
It kept playing again. VCR, Blu-ray, Amazon, whatever it was, it froze. Multiple times for some reason. I don't know what was going on.
Your internet's trash, bro.
Look, I will say, Harris kind of mentioned in a 2013 interview that the producers didn't reach out for her for this role, that she pursued it heavily, and she admitted though that the main reason she was cast, well, at least she thinks though that the main reason she was cast was that she agreed to this a very lengthy chase scene while naked. So something she'd never done before, but I guess they were having problems finding people that would stay naked for that long of a period. So thank you, Daniel. I just want to say that. All right, so moving on from that scene that for some reason took a lot longer than...
Yeah, they should have just casted one of the people from Human Centipede. They were naked for 2 hours. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I'm glad they didn't. Daniel Harris was the right way to go with.
Much better.
100%. The walk from the Wallaces to the Doyles, this to me, it felt like Halloween. The atmosphere, the wind was blowing, the fall leaves were out of nowhere blowing. And I really, that finally felt like Halloween to me. So I wanted to acknowledge that. And the scene where Annie's on the ground and Laurie comes in, that is really great acting from Compton and Harris there. That was very believable in a movie and in a genre where acting scared honestly can come across very cheesy. They did it amazing. So I just wanted to shout that out.
All right, boys, here's the finale. The police get to Tommy's house, and the Lori and the two kids, they're in the bathroom still. They yell, "He's out there." Lori goes to open the door for the officer, but Michael stabs him in the back. The other officer shoots him, but is easily killed. He just storms right through the bullets. Myers grabs Lori and storms off with her. He carries her body back to his old house. The two kids are stopped by Loomis. They say Boogeyman took Lori. Lori wakes up in a funk. She sees Linda's dead body. Myers walks in. "What do you want?" she says. He drops the knife and pulls out the picture of them younger. She doesn't understand. She takes the picture. Myers takes his mask off, but she grabs the knife, and she's fake talking to him, but then she just stabs him. She breaks down a door to try to escape. Myers gets back up, puts his mask on. She gets through the fence door. She takes off running, but falls into a pool. She cries for help, and Myers is there. He walks into the pool. Loomis shows up and says to stop. He pulls out the gun and shoots him repeatedly, yelling, "Stop," and Michael falls down. Loomis and Lori walk out of the pool. They get into his cop car. She says, "Was that the boogeyman?" And Loomis gives the iconic line, "Yes, I believe it was." Michael punches through the glass and grabs her. Loomis says it's not her fault to Michael. He grabs Loomis and gouges his eyes. Laurie gets into a tunnel in the house. He drags Loomis's body. He finds the coat that she had put on. He looks through the house. He starts kicking in the walls trying to find her. She crawls out and sees Loomis. And Loomis grabs Myers' leg as he walks by, but then he just easily walks away. Laurie crawls into the roof in the ceiling area. He grabs like this wooden block and he starts beating the hell out of the roof trying to get her to fall out. She falls through the roof into another room, and Myers tackles her through the window off the balcony. Laurie's on top of him with the Magnum. She dry fires the gun in his face a couple of times. Then it shoots him right in the face as he grabs her arm. She's screaming on top of her with blood all over her face. And it ends with the credits of the family slideshow. All right, I'm going to let Mike go last since this was his pick. Brian, do you want to go first on this ending?
Yeah. Having the shrine to Judith with Linda's body, that's what I was talking about earlier, being right out of Jason, right out of Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
With where Jason had Pamela Voorhees' shrine there. I mean, Laurie's even wearing a big blue sweater. So I almost feel like that was on purpose. That was so on the nose. I'm not a fan of the false ending where they're getting in the car and you think it's over. But it leads to the redo of the closet scene, but yet it's in the wall, which I liked. I liked that was a little bit different, a little bit more believable than in the closet anyway. I like the ending. After 2 hours, I'm more than ready for this ending, but and for the movie to be over with. Okay, so if I didn't know that there was going to be a Halloween 2, because at the time you didn't know that,
Right.
that was a pretty final ending. And coming from somebody who fought tooth and nail and did not want them to remake this in the first place, I was actually satisfied with, okay, well, that's it. They can't go really further with this. So I was glad that was just kind of, I hoped that this was going to be just like a one-off.
Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, I'm with Brian on this one with the false ending, because I was kind of like ready for it to kind of wrap up, to be honest. So when the scene rolled into it, and then he busts in the window and pulls her out and the screen or whatever, I was just like, you should have just wrapped it up there. Been done with it. Don't trick me. Don't trick me into wanting to watch this movie for 10 more minutes. Outside of that, I loved how I did love how they kind of finished up. If they would have just skipped that part and just rolled right into where the diving through the window and all the other stuff, I think it would have been a better ending.
Okay. I think Scout is great in these last 12 to 14 minutes of this movie. I think her acting is really good. I agree with you, Brian, about the very Jason-esque scene vibe I get from that. I like it, though. I think it's good. It's different. So I'm fine with it. I like that they made the closet scene different, at least. It's still there, but it's different. Here's the thing. The scene where he's poking holes to the ceiling takes a really long time.
Oh, way too long.
It is so fucking long. He's just poking holes, and I'm like, fuck. God damn it. Cut that out a little bit. But, I agree with you guys about the ending. The false ending, I hate false endings. It's one of my pet peeves in movies unless it's done really, really, really well. This isn't done that well. I like that they both went out of the window in this movie and not just Michael. I thought that was a nice little touch. And I like the way they ended it with Laurie shooting Michael. I thought that was good. I think Scout is great there. But I don't like the false ending. And by the way, Malcolm McDowell is also great in these last 12 minutes. Like the scene where he's grabbing for Michael's foot, even though he's like half dying and he can't get it. I think that's really good. And I think he's good caring for Lloyd, looking like an actual human being, which they completely fucking shit on in the second one, but I'll save it for another time again. But overall, should have been shorter. The theatrical cut is, but only by about 11 minutes. So that lets you know they really wanted to get their shit in. I just think this movie could have been a nice 90-minute little film, and they stretched it out entirely too long, especially the director's cut, which is 2 fucking hours. So, here's what I'll say. You know what? I'll save it for when we go over our rating. I'll save it. So go ahead.
Y'all ready to jump into fun facts?
Do it.
Sure.
All right, I'll just go first.
Go ahead, Nico.
Hope I don't steal nobody's stuff. These are all from IMDb. McDowell ruined a great number of takes by invoking hysterical laughter into the other actors.
Good.
Tyler Mane is the tallest actor to portray Michael Myers at a height of 6'8" tall, which is very believable because me and Mike took a picture with him, and he is a giant human being.
Yes.
Emma Stone auditioned for the role of Laurie Strode.
Oh, that would have been different.
Yeah.
Rob Zombie originally wanted Danielle Harris to play Laurie and Sherry Moon to play Linda.
No to all of that. To all of that.
Yeah, big no to that. Who wants to go next?
I only have one that I think I didn't spit, so I'll just say it here. Some of these scenes were wrote on the day of shooting them. That's not great.
No.
Not good, Bob.
And not only is that in the DVD special features, which I have, they pretty much show you there, but the cast has talked about it in interviews since that some of these scenes were shot were wrote on the day of their shooting, and that's not a great sign for a movie. I kind of wonder which ones they were because I haven't really found that out yet, but even in the special features, it's kind of hard to tell. So I always thought that was kind of weird. And by the way, I know we'll touch on another time, but Rob Zombie never wanted to make a sequel. He also never wanted to do the last 40 minutes of this movie that we all like. He just wanted to do his movie, which is why Halloween 2 is the way it is.
Drew, go ahead.
I was like looking through some of the articles written back in the day, and on ScreenRant.com it said that they approached Zombie about directing the remake, and that they turned around and shot down his initial idea for making 2 films, which is why during this one you have the duality of the Myers childhood and the other being a remake. So that's why I got in there, which I thought was kind of interesting, which makes more sense to why I didn't like the 2 halves.
All right, let's jump into favorite kill, least favorite kill, and the rating. I'll go first if unless somebody else wants to go first.
Go ahead.
I'm probably gonna steal everybody's points in the rating. All right, my favorite kill, I wrote down it's a tie between the bully and the stepdad. I really like young Michael's kill and for both of them. My least favorite kill, y'all probably will not guess what it is, and I'll explain it in my rating. My least favorite kill is Linda. And I'm not even going to read why. I'm just going to wait until the rating. My rating of this movie is a 7. The pros, the third act up until the last 15 minutes is good. Tyler Mane and Dave Finch played the role they were asked to good. I like the 3 girls in this movie. I really like the fall atmosphere in a lot of it. All righty, here's the cons. Excuse me. There's too much cussing, white trashy dialogue. Michael Myers is too brutal to me. Kid Mike looks ridiculous in the mask. Like you guys said, the ending is too goddamn long. And to me, the nudity was almost at the expletive level to me. I don't need to see Christina Cleavy. I mean, the one breast shot, okay, that's fine. But I don't need to see her getting strangled and you see her chest and you see her vagina almost while she's getting strangled. You see Christina Cleavy again when Laurie is brought into the room naked. I don't need to see Danielle Harris drug across this room for as long as she did naked. I don't need to see that in a slash movie. I'm sorry. I mean, if I want to see naked girls, I'll go to Pornhub or Xvideos. I don't want to see it in my Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees movies. I can rewatch this movie easily, but the cons I just said don't go away from me. I don't like the cons every single time. And I wrote this is a decent movie to me. It's decent.
Did you give your rating or are we waiting?
No, it was a 7. 7.
7. Okay. 7.
Like the second half is good, but like you said, the ending, I don't need to see this chase in the house for 15. It's like Jesus Christ, can we end this? And then, like you said, the Loomis and Myers in the beginning when he's a kid and the mom, cut that junk by about 10, 15. If you cut 10, 15 there and 10, 15 out of this ending, this movie might be, an 8. or something for me. It's just too long. Or the unrated director's cut's too long. Theatrical might be all right.
No.
Brian, you want to go next? Or Drew, you want to go next? Whoever. We'll let Mike go last.
I'll go. That's fine. Look, you can take all the zombie bullshit out of this and get it the hell up out of my Halloween. You know, after it's gone, the second half of this movie is honestly very, very good. Very good. It was a great remake at that point where you made it feel familiar, but it wasn't shot for shot, you know, so it wasn't shot by shot remake. But alas, you make half a movie, you get half a score from me. So 50% or a 5 is where I'm gonna rate it.
Okay.
The worst kill to me is the Daniel Trejo kill. I don't know. It didn't resonate with me, I guess, like the other ones did. I don't really have a favorite kill. Some of it was a little bit. I really liked all of the Michael Myers kills. I mean, I know they were maybe quote unquote boring, but I mean, it's a guy with a knife, so there's only a little bit so much you can do with that. I liked the scene where he slit the stepdad's throat, or I don't know, I guess the boyfriend's throat. I don't know. I call him a boyfriend, but it might have been the stepdad. I don't think they were actually married. But I liked that just because you don't see that very much, because a lot of people shy away from showing that in a film, and I kind of liked it here. I'll go ahead and pick that one as my favorite.
Go ahead, Drew.
I would say my favorite kill is the back kill, just because of the way they shot it after he beat his head, and then how he just he walked across the hallway, and it just showed his, I think it kind of resonated like, this is a kid that just did this gruesome thing, and it shows his little tiny feet going down the hallway with his blood-stained feet. Far as the worst kill, I don't really know, because like part of me is with Brian on the Danny Trejo character, because I feel like how they put that in there, I think he should have gotten more. Like his kill should have been a little bit more meaningful. And then at the same time, like the way Deborah Myers, the shooting herself off the camera kind of didn't hit with me too at the same time. So that's kind of a toss up. I'm giving this film a 6.0. I would watch it again, mostly just for the ending, not really for the beginning, and that's it.
Money Mike, let's hear that rating, brother.
Okay, real quick, I missed it when we did scene by scene breakdown. I like how Brackett explains away how Laurie doesn't know she's Laurie. I think that's really good, and something the original sequel Halloween 2 was missing. The explanation of how she, how Laurie didn't know this whole time that she may have been adopted and all of this stuff. I think that was really well done. Anyway, here's what I'll say. My favorite kill is Ronnie's throat kill. I just love that, because we're rooting for him to kill Ronnie. So when I'm in that mindset, I want to see him die, and I think that's such a brutal way to kill him. You talk all that shit, let me slit your throat. So I think that's a really good kill, and great actor portrayal by William Forsythe. The eyes, the way he uses it, I think it's really good. My least favorite kill is really hard in this movie, because if you go theatrical cut, it's just the random guard kills. There's a couple random guards he kills in the theatrical cut, so I'm gonna use a cop out and go with those. It's just kind of a stab or a hit over the head with an elbow or something like that, so nothing special there. My rating. This movie I have a tie to for reasons I've explained a million times. So it's always got a nostalgic pull for me. I could pop it at any time and enjoy it. I have a lot of problems with it, but I can pop it at any time and at least enjoy the movie. I think the cast is really good. I don't think this is their fault at all for the most part. I think it's really well acted. There's some directorial stuff or writing, more so the writing, that I just can't stand. The creative direction that this movie took, I'm just not a fan of. And because of that, it gets pegged down to where my initial theater experience was like, whoa, this is badass. Hindsight, with more Halloween, I've seen every Halloween movie a million damn times now. So I have ones that I enjoy more than this one. but it's definitely not my least favorite. So all of that being said, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's one I can enjoy anytime. I can pop it in. Here's why. It's more modern. I love Halloween 78, but I save Halloween 78 for Halloween night every year. That's just what I do. But Halloween 2007, I can pop in anytime because it's a little more modern, a little bit quicker, except for the Smith Grove scenes. And so I give it a 7.5 out of 10. And cap tip to the actors and actresses in this movie. I think they did a good job. Sorry, Rob.
Yeah, before Brian's going to do something at the very end, I did want to agree with what you said earlier. Zombie shot the film good.
Yeah, I think so too.
But
Great.
the dialogues what
so
killed
bad.
it. Killed it.
Yeah.
For me. Like, that's my biggest problem.
Crying shit. Like, first, you literally start with God of Thunder, and you're like, all right, okay, something different, and then you get into that fucking breakfast scene, and it's, I'll spunk all over them flappy titties.
Yeah, it was
skull
it was
fuck the
terrible.
shit out of you.
Terrible.
Like, come on, man, we don't need this in a Halloween movie.
It turns you off real quick too.
Yeah,
It does.
absolutely.
It turns you off.
Absolutely.
Brian, do you want to go ahead and...
Yeah, sure. So a couple of things that I really like to do, it's kind of like a personal just love for me, is like I really like reading some scripts for movies that were turned down. And there's a really, there's a couple for Freddy versus Jason that I really like. So look, and this will only take about 2 minutes that I, kind of went through this. So if you don't want to listen to it, go ahead and skip to the end if you want. But, like I said, I'll just give you about 2 minutes. There was two different ways that they were going to Mustafa Akkad, I don't really know how you pronounce that. The original producer for Halloween period and did all of the other ones. But like they were looking at doing based off because of Freddy versus Jason and the success financially that I came from, like they were going to either go the route of Pinhead from Hellraiser versus Michael Myers for this movie, and that actually got shot down.
Thank you.
What was interesting though is that John Carpenter said he was going to direct it, and Clive Barker said he was going to write it. So I hated Hellraiser, so Clive Barker to me writing it did nothing for me. But that would have been very interesting. I think I would have hated it. Probably sounds terrible. I don't know how you would write that period, but it sounded very interesting. And the other route was actually the way that they were going to go until Mustafa Akkad got killed. Actually, I think it was bombings, and I want to say Jordan, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, but he had actually pretty much greenlit and wrote a first draft of a script for Halloween Retribution, and it was a sequel to Halloween Resurrection, actually a direct sequel, and actually tied in with a lot of almost all the movies, especially H2O. So anyway, I got a little summary I kind of read that script and then just really quickly summarized it. So give me just a second, if you don't mind. The movie opened up in 1964 with a female doctor who's a colleague of Dr. Loomis. She interacts with Myers as a child, giving a little bit more insight as him as a child, and introducing this new character to it. It actually, it fast forwards a little bit to 1978 to the night that he escaped Smith's Grove, and it shows you how he actually escaped that night with a piece of glass and some other details. And you get to see him escape from Smith's Grove in a different, kind of from a different perspective, including him driving away in Loomis's car. So you get a completely different perspective of that whole scene. So I thought that was a pretty cool little tie-in to start it out with. Then you fast forward 2004 to the main lead, Leah. She's driving by the now abandoned Smith's Grove. So this foreshadows that you get this later in the climax of the script. But this is where it gets interesting because Nico's boy, Freddie Harris, Buster Rhymes from Resurrection, he's the one that karate kicks Myers and kind of killed the franchise, if you ask me, but not everybody. But he's actually now on a book tour, and in the very first scene that he's got him in, Michael Myers kills him. Josh Hartnett is back as John Tate, Laurie's son. So, I like that, but a lot of people aren't big Josh Hartnett fans. We get a scene of him visiting Laurie's grave. Halloween now is banned in Haddonfield. It only took, 8 movies to get to this point. Right. The teens break down on the way to a cabin and end up having to run to Smith's Grove to kind of hide out. So you can kind of see where that's going to play out. John Tate and now an old Sheriff Brackett, played by the same character from '78 and Halloween 2, research Myers and what happened to his body after the movie and Resurrection. So while the kids are basically being hunted by Michael Myers in Smith's Grove Sanitarium, in an abandoned Smith's Grove Sanitarium. Brackett's really treated good in this movie. We get a lot of character treatment and how that night of '78 really affected him. It even plays the conversation of Loomis and him from '78 and how him not really believing Loomis really like haunts him to that day. Actually, in a movie directly stolen from Friday the 13th, here one of the kids realized that she looks like Judith and cuts her hair off and everything, and kind of has a scene with Myers. So that's direct ripoff from final chapter. And the ending basically has a scene on like ice where John's character and Michael fight, and they both go into the ice, and John kind of emerges with the mask, saying, okay, well, basically that Myers is dead, but it doesn't really show it. And it really implies that he is going to take on kind of the mantle of being Michael Myers and start killing people, kind of like they did with Daniel Harris in 4, and never really capitalized on it. So, I mean, I think it sounds very interesting, given that it's a first draft of the script. Also, the author of the article sounded very confident that Daniel Harris would have lobbied for a return like she did in this one, and most likely gotten a return of Jamie Lloyd in this film. So,
Good.
To me, like, I think that
I love that script. That's a good
script. I think
script.
it sounds great, and I think it sounds much better than, it makes up for Resurrection, honestly, probably makes it a little bit better, because, all franchises have shitty movies, but the next one being good fixes it and helps it out, and you don't get this remake. So, I mean, I would have loved that. So anyway, just a little tidbit. Sorry if I went on a little long.
No, that's good stuff, Brian, and you're absolutely
No, I
right.
had no
Resurrection
idea.
is a shitty movie. Oh, sorry.
I'm not
sorry,
debating
Nico.
with you guys.
No, I actually really like that.
If you
script.
guys
I
have bad
read that
taste,
script.
you can have bad taste.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I've actually
I'm tired
read.
of Laurie Strode. We get a movie without Laurie Strode and you hate it.
Yeah,
Can't
and
please
it's not
nobody around
good.
here.
It's not good.
I will disagree and say that the movie is actually good to me. I just don't. I hate the ending so much it almost ruins the damn movie to me.
That's-
So I actually loved the movie until then.
I just don't like Busta Rhymes in that movie. I'm sorry, I can't help myself.
That's my problem.
Do y'all got any final thoughts on the movie?
I'm glad we reviewed it. I thought it was an interesting discussion that we had as far as remakes go and where to take certain. Our logo is Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, and Jason Voorhees. So to talk about these franchises is a good thing sometimes, and I like getting away from them. Don't get me wrong, Conjurings, Amityville, stuff like that. But it's good to bring it all back every now and then and to discuss the franchises that kind of like built the foundation of our show, which is kind of how this show was built, was a bunch of us talking about these movies. And so I like breaking them down in this amount of detail.
Every now and then.
Oh, you just don't like slashers, you ghost horror person.
We've done way more non-slashers than slashers, to be honest.
We have.
Yeah, this was a good movie. I'm glad we reviewed it. We finally done a Rob Zombie movie. He's a great director, in my opinion. Writer, he needs a lot of work. A lot of work.
He needs to direct a movie where someone else writes his script. In my opinion.
Agreed.
He's like the horror version of Adam Sandler because he uses a lot of the same actors, which I can show respect.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm fine with that. And Sid Haig is great in every movie that he's in.
Yeah.
Great. Just, give him something to work with. It's
right.
like, come on, man.
That's what makes me angry about Sherry Moon is I think in this movie she's really good. In a lot of the other movies, like the Salem movie and the 31, I just think she's not good because of the dialogue she's given. So I just wish that she would be more like this movie where she's cast better. Like I think she's a good Michael Myers mom. I really do.
Yep, I agree with you, man. Good. I mean, I don't hate this movie. It's decent. Like I said, it's decent. I'm glad we reviewed it. Looking forward to the next show. Not sure what it is. We'll keep y'all guessing. Can't give y'all too many secrets. But I am doing a giveaway. If any of the listeners didn't see it, just share the post on Facebook or retweet it on Twitter, giving away a DVD of this movie and its sequel. Because I figured you guys deserved it. Well, I've got the Blu-ray, so I still own it.
They more than deserve this one. You're absolutely right. The second one, I'm so sorry. However, I don't hate it as much as these guys.
Yeah, imagine hating on Resurrection and then liking this movie. But anywho, appreciate all
Better.
the love and support. Y'all have a good night.
Joe Grizzly, bitch.